Good morning, welcome back. And if this is the first video you've ever seen of me, I don't talk about anything specific. I kind of go all over the place. And yeah, this particular subject here is going to try to centralize around the USAID versus Trump withdrawing from the WHO. And this is where it gets real interesting. You see, I took a couple of snippets and I saved a couple of videos. And if you're really concerned about the direction and how everything is playing out in the politics, I highly suggest going to my playlists and hurt your brain watching the politics file and the Mad Hatter archive. So moving on from that. Currently, semi-disabled with a torn ACL. We already covered it in the other video that's currently uploading right now. But what I was doing while I was freezing my knee off, trying to get the swelling that is around the injury off, I Googled around and I started kind of like getting the nit grit. Now I understood who the WHO is and why Trump decided to stop funding it. Okay? Second, it directly involves the functions and or the description of what USAID is for. So I ran across, and of course it's Fox News, and any Democrat out there that's listening to Fox News, they get mad because it goes against every concept and ideology of what the Democrats have programmed into that whole population of people. Majority of them. Some of them are actually diplomatic and they see both sides of the situation and they kind of don't know where they are in life right now and experience cognitive dissonance. And yeah, they probably need a dark room, a pillow, pacifier, and a lot of liquor to get through some of the crazy cognitive dissonance that their brains are experiencing right now after all of this crap has come out of the woodwork. Yeah, coffee's kicked in. Sarcasm. Full tilt boogie. Here we go. So, the WHO is basically funded, technically, by the gross national product, some percentage thereof, of every country that is involved. And what their purpose for doing is, I took a screenshot, and maybe I'll just get excited. Wait to the 3-minute mark. Yeah. I'll be able to identify where to stick it. Everything that the WHO is technically responsible for. Okay? Right. So, and then we have the underlying factor of DOGE. DOGE is going in and just wiping out the BS. To put it blank. I mean, USAID was designed in 1961 to support foreign infrastructure and development, to help third world countries, to help feed people, to help build, to help them, evolve at a faster pace. Support medical needs, support things, and that the origination of the idea was good in itself, but steadily over the last 60 plus years it has evolved into a money laundering, it's a fucking shit show, to put it mildly. It is gross in itself. So why am I mentioning these two different organizations? Because technically, the WHO is supposed to focus on the medical things. Now, if you look at the description, the AI, which is the top choice whenever you go into Dr. Google and you type in a generic question, how is WHO funded? What is WHO's purpose? Shit like that, you're going to get this AI-generated description. Well, that screenshot is what describes what it's supposed to do. And what it's doing is taking billions of the American dollars and buying yachts with it. Because they've really done fucking nothing. And their presence in the pandemic thing was straight up ridiculous. Useless as tits on a boar hog. They did not take any of that money and do anything with it. The guy just talked a bunch of shit out the side of his face, and it basically turned into a dead subject, and everybody was like, this is bullshit, peace out, we're fucking going back to work. How did it even resolve? Because the WHO was basically lining the mad scientist pockets. They weren't really hands-on doing a whole lot of anything that would be beneficial. They were trying to contain disease, like Ebola. They were funding the research where that's what mad scientist's job was for. That's what he's paid for, is to support and do research in order to eradicate these diseases. Instead, he took our money and funded gain-of-function research on a bug that had absolutely nothing to do with some of these more serious conditions. Okay? Let's see where this is turning into a fucking rat wheel? See how this whole thing kind of overlaps? So, I'm watching Fox, and the guy is sitting there saying, oh, USAID is supporting the funding of HIV in third world countries. Well, what the fuck is our government doing for our people with HIV? Oh no, they're having to pay it out of pocket. After we get taxed to death to sink our money into an organization to help other countries with the same problem. But we don't see a fucking dime of it. Hey, you mull that over for a minute. That's USAID. That ain't the WHO. Who the fuck is who? Where the fuck is who? What the fuck is who doing? Collecting charity and funds and GDP percentages from every country in the world to try and manipulate money to support eradicating disease from a mad scientist who isn't interested in eradicating disease. He's interested in gain of function. A little bit of research on the protocoled mandatory medication that was required to treat people during the pandemic. Okay, that medication was undersigned by mad scientists, had gone through its, Tuskegee, similar to, was it Tuskegee? No, what the fuck? It was Alabama, where they did the syphilis study type of thing. Anyway, they put it through this, placebo type of arrangement. And more people died of the medication than they died of the placebo. Ebola. Mull it over a bit. Yeah, I got links below. But, I didn't put a link in as far as that goes because I don't know if YouTube will approve me putting in Dr. Artis's webpage because they canceled him. Anyway, yeah, Mickey Willis too. Yeah, I don't think they'd approve of that link in my video. They'd probably lock it down. So you can do your own research, look them two up. Anywho, so yeah, that medication, I'm going to put it out there, Remdesivir. Okay, was designed, I guess, and put through a test and case study type of thing and a placebo study amongst people who were infected with Ebola over in Africa. And what had happened with this medication, what they had started to recognize within this medication, that there is a shitstorm of side effects. And one of those side effects, and I didn't upload that take because I said it wrong, it was pulmonary edema is one of those side effects. And what it does is it shuts the kidneys down, and it causes the fluid to back up into the body. And when the fluid backs up into the body, it greatly affects the lungs. And what happens is basically those oxygen machines and those, that breathing apparatus, what the hell are they called? Anyway, it basically turns all that fluid into body fluid frappe or whipped cream. And it resembles that of someone with, who is drowning in their own bodily fluids. Yeah, it's weird. And a lot of the novice doctors who have never read the research on Remdesivir and had not realized that the attending in charge did not chase that medication with another little medication out there called Lasix, which prevents edema and helps to expend, get the fluids out of the body, kind of thing. You see where the medical malpractice type of, thing kind of goes into play. And a lot of these people with the pandemic issues had passed away from pneumonia because that's what that drug was causing. It was called something else, but they were labeling it something else because that's what it looked like. This is where everything went bleh, and it was a hot mess. And that's when a lot of the doctors who had spoke out about it and said there was alternatives to this, yada, 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 they were getting canceled because mad scientists had some kind of power over the decision-making in our government. So, with his affiliation, fucking shit up, and the WHO pretty much just talking out the side of their face and doing not a whole lot of anything, fucking shit up, and we paying into it, wasting our tax dollars on an organization that was doing next to nothing, fucking shit up. And then we've got USAID, where this spokesperson on Fox News was sitting there saying, USAID funds all these programs and all these health, blase, 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 all over the country. Isn't that what WHO was supposed to be doing? That we were paying money into? USAID is not supposed to be funding, medical therapies, to my knowledge, to foreign countries for conditions that our country has also, and we don't see a dime of it. The WHO is supposed to be doing what I've been bitching about, resourcing medical, no, we've never seen a dime of it. To support, our homeless issue, based upon substance abuse issues, based upon psychological issues. That people are unable to, they don't have the skills in order to, they don't have no resiliency to, resist taking a substance to mask their pain. And it ends up putting them in the poorhouse and they end up on the street. There's no support. There's no programs. There's no healthcare professionals out there organizing anything because they're not getting the funding, because all the funding is going for dumb shit that nobody gives a fuck about in other countries. That is what DOGE has done. They've shut that shit down. That is what Trump has done by telling WHO to go kick rocks. You ain't done shit for us. You're doing all this stuff for everybody else, or so you say. That's the purpose. But, we've got USAID going in there and having to do the WHO's work in some programs. This is where Elon has gone in and said, you're all this money that has gone for these programs that are insignificant to the health and well-being of every human citizen or entity on this planet, where we are dishing money here and there. Oh, and to top it all off, billions of dollars being sent to certain countries for natural disaster like Haiti and their earthquake issue and hurricane destruction issue. Nothing, they've never seen anything come of it. It was basically they gave them $1 billion and someone took that $1 billion and flushed it down a fucking toilet. Nothing was done. This kind of craziness. No, there was no check in the checker. No one took that money and said, okay, we're going to be here and we're going to be the oversight. This is where our military could come into play. This is where our officials in the military could come into play. Say, okay, we are here to be the oversight committee to ensure that this money that we have donated to this country is getting utilized effectively and repairing and restructuring and rebuilding these elements that have been, inundated by natural disaster, to ensure that it gets fixed. And then when it's fixed, we bring our military home. The controversies that are like literally just destroying the infrastructure of our government and our financial stability within this country is precisely the reason why everything is getting, they're leveling it and they're going to rebuild it. But the trick is, I heard something the other day and I can't remember where I saw it, but I'm going to throw it out there. I'm regurgitating something and I can't cite it. He's only got 16 months to get this shit done. Everybody's wondering, why is he changing everything so fast? Yeah, and I'm the one with the adjustment disorder. I'm the one who's like, don't change shit because it takes me 1,000 years to wrap my head around the change before I am not, experiencing a shit show of, anxiety, trying to accept the changes as they come into play, right? This is, it's almost a morbid contradiction of my own self. He's only got 16 months to get this crap fixed, because that's when the midterms come out. And once that, and if shit gets fucking sideways, because it is kind of going a little bit, it's at an angle right now, because he's got to put it at an angle in order to reroute it back to where it needs to be straight. Everything that has been being done to corrupt from the inside out has been done over the last, okay, now we can add 16 years. Because all of this stuff had continued to be into play. Even though Trump's heart was in the right place, everything he tried to do was getting thwarted. And his first term was basically, they were just berating him left and right. And all of this crazy USAID shit was still going on behind his back. He didn't have anybody go in there and, audit and find out that, yeah, the whole time he was in, they were funding all sorts of dumb shit. Funding shit that technically should have been being taken care of by the WHO, which we were still sinking money into. And USAID, so they're double tapping the responsibility with our money, with our tax dollars. Does anybody understand how this is all working now? Do you understand why, he's kind of crushing all of the system to kind of get it back to, okay, you are responsible for this, not all of this shit. And then you've got the sketchy fucks in Congress, underwriting stuff. Just, yep, do what you want. Because my my insider trading investments are going toward that. And I don't want to know how corrupt your system is because I want my investments to grow. Attitude. They say follow the money. This is a direct reflection of why it is so important to have oversight. Check the checker, as we would say in the military, to ensure that there is no corruption. This is why he's taken it all down to reestablish and build it back up. I mean, he's already signed Marco Rubio to the USAID when they restart it. However, you've got to have somebody in that seat who is going to have enough gumption and balls to say, no, we don't support that effort. That is not what our people's tax dollars are meant to do. Because that USAID did not help the U.S. at all. At all. It is stolen. It is rape, the bad word. I don't know. Can I say that anymore? Yeah, it's basically financially raped our tax dollars and stuck them everywhere else. Without our consent. We have not had a say, any of us, as to how these organizations have been funded through the penmanship of Congress to distribute what have you, this, that, and the other thing, and not a fucking dime of it has come back to us in any way, shape, and form. Yeah. We the people are pissed. And as badly as, you know, some of the brainwashed still think that it is a requirement that all of these other countries get, you know, funded. No, that is the WHO's job. To take care of this medicinal stuff. World Health Organization. USAID is infrastructure and development. Infrastructure. That means getting the politicians and their governments organized. Getting their buildings rebuilt after, you know, natural disasters. Helping other countries evolve. It evolve on a basic playing field, not with a bunch of DEI and weird transgender acceptance crap. It's called fraud, waste, and abuse. And let's see, they abused the Americans' tax dollars to fund erroneous programs that were not within the designated purpose of that organization. And they were using those tax dollars to do things with money that other organizations were responsible for. That's all I got. I hope I didn't put anybody to sleep, because I'm not going to repeat this in 9 different ways. But yet, that's the fucking problem. So, you may not like the way it's going, but you can't rebuild like my house. It's old. Yeah, I got a feeling I'm going to end up having to tear all the walls out to redo a lot of this shit. Guess what? It's going to need a little bit of destruction before it can get put back to better. Peace out, y'all. Thanks for everybody. Watches, subscribe, listens, gets it. Might not be on here for a minute unless I get a comment or two that kind of inspires a thought. But yes, take care. Thank you much. See you in the next one.